Hello, greetings. Welcome to the Indian Classical Guitar Academy. My name is Jack Jennings. So the Indian Classical Guitar Academy is me in my room, in my home studio with all my guitars. I've studied with some fantastic Indian classical musicians over the years. It's been a long uphill struggle to, learn to play Indian classical music on the electric guitar. I've studied the sitar as well. But in the last few years, things have really been coming together. I've had so much amazing support from my gurus, and I've been putting together these guitar courses and teaching online throughout the pandemic, and everything's been just carrying on in that direction now. So I've got so many guitar courses that are part of the Academy, and what I'm going to show you here is a clip from a live stream, the most recent live stream for the members of the Academy. And I'm talking about Raag Sarang, which is a pentatonic Raag, and I'm just linking it up with something called the Mali blues scale, which is very similar to the minor pentatonic blues scale that all the guitar players know. It's very similar to the Mali blues scale, so there's this interesting configuration between Raag Sarang, Mali blues, and then how that relates to the pentatonic system on the guitar that guitar players are really familiar with. So I thought you guys would quite like to see this, and if you'd like to watch the whole masterclass and all of the different courses that I've made for Indian classical guitar, then become a member. Come along and check out indianclassicalguitar.com, become a member of the Indian Classical Guitar Academy. And there's new lessons every month. There's over 20 hours of lessons now. There's so many things, looking at technique, looking at all the different theoretical aspects of the music, looking at different rags, looking at how to play Indian rhythms. All kinds of things are in there. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and check out what's coming up, and this is a little free one just for you guys to see a little bit of what we do behind the scenes with the Indian Classical Guitar Academy. Thanks for watching. This scale, it's worth mentioning that this is also called the Mali blues scale. So in North Africa and Mali, they have musicians like Ali Fakatore who play, a style which has been thought of as sort of like the ancestral kind of form of blues music before it sort of developed in the Americas. So it uses this scale in the Mali blues. They tend to, rather than that sound, it's more like, it's more that kind of, it's more that scale rather than. So you can think of American blues as being like that, and then Mali blues being like. Mali blues with the second rather than the flat third, so a re rather than a komal ga. So I think it's quite interesting just to make that connection. The other thing about Raag Sarang, I know I'm mentioning quite a lot of different things here, but the other thing about Sarang is that it's thought of as a rag where you can use a lot of transitions that are, in the West we would say, a bit more staccato, so that the notes can be played, they don't have to have as much sort of like meend or andolan, which is that like that kind of bending and sliding around the notes. We can still do that, but sarang can also be played like it can be played with a sort of like sharper, more sort of like dry attack on the notes. Most rags, when you take them into the faster phase of the recital, the more the technical portion of the recital, you can play the rags in that more sort of kind of pattern based sort of rhythmic sense. So a lot of these kind of more kind of clear attack on the notes rather than So that time I was making sure that I had more rounded slides and bends, so the transitions between the notes were more sort of curved. So as you develop playing faster and faster, you can start to have more of a clear attack on the notes. You don't always have to be bending or sliding, getting that sort of rounded transition between the notes. So Sarang is already a good rag to play more of these kind of patterns. That kind of playing, I think, is a bit more applicable in a rag like Sarang. I don't think it would be quite as applicable in something like rag malconce, like a sort of deeper, more devotional rag, where there should be more of like a sort of deep vocal quality to it. Sarang has a kind of bit of a lighter sound to it. So it works quite well, I think, to explore more of the pentatonic sort of structure that we have in there. But just coming back to its pentatonic sort of origin and how it's like a mode of the pentatonic scale, we were discussing that it's pretty much like D minor pentatonic, but it just has this second note instead of the flat third. So it has the re instead of the kumulga. But so that can help your thinking. But also, if you just think of the standard minor pentatonic scale, but you start it from the fifth note. So instead of starting it from the root, you start it from the fifth. So we know that's the fifth, because if we play standard sargam, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa. And if we start a minor pentatonic shape from that note, then we get. And if I just add one more note, I can get the octave there. So that gave us a pa, kumul, ni, sa, and then we had the re, and then the ma. There's the pa on the top. There's the kumul, ni on fret 8, and can slide up to sa. So if I play that same shape, but I just start from sa, then you'll hear it's rag sarang. So there's my sa on fret 7 of the G string. Then there's your re on the B string, ma on the B string, and then we have a pa, kumul, ni on the top E, and there's your sa. So if you know the minor pentatonic scale, just imagine that you're playing it in the key of A. Now I know on my guitar I don't have the low strings, so I'm just starting with the top 4 strings, or just thinking of the third string as my main string. So if you just think of that minor pentatonic shape, this would be shape 1 of the minor pentatonic. From the 4th string, you just have your 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. So every guitar player pretty much knows that. So you've got that kind of shape, but you're just centering it around sa, the 7th fret on the G string. And if you're playing this tuning with the Chikari strings tuned to D, and you've got your drone tuned into D, then you'll be hearing it in the right way. You'll be hearing it as D, the center pitch. D is sa, and that will completely change the way that you hear the notes. Even though we're playing the notes of A minor pentatonic, and you can visualize the neck as all the boxes of minor pentatonic in A, your ear will still hear everything in reference to D being the tonic, D being sa. So that means that all of the different patterns that you know in minor pentatonic, all the different ways of playing on 2 strings, or doing different movements through different box patterns, all of that can be applied to this rag. And mixed in with that, we just have to think about the atmosphere of rag sarang and the key phrases, and playing around with the composition, knowing that we're in that right sort of context of rag sarang, Indian classical music. But we can use all of the positions of the minor pentatonic scale in a key of A to give us a lot of facility to move around and try different things. So So let's move on now to the composition, and a bit later I'll bring in some different ideas from the Pentatonics. If you want to start one of these courses, you can buy them individually or you can subscribe monthly to access all of them. For subscribers, there'll be new content every month, including live streams where we can answer your personal questions and go into more detail about applying this material. So far we've covered Raag Yaman, Raag Bageshri, Jog, Hamsadwani, Kafi, and Raag Malkons, and there's much more to come. This body of work is a culmination of the 18 years experience I have as a guitar teacher, combined with the knowledge acquired through studying the sitar directly, and then adapting that material using the guitar techniques that suit this style best. To create these courses and gather the most authentic material possible, I work closely with other Indian classical musicians such as Manish Pingle and Gurdeng Riot. I'd like to give a special thanks to my guru Roopa Panesar, who has guided me in the creation of these courses. Much of the material has been adapted directly from my training with her. Also Shakir Khan, my guru, who's been inspiring me immensely and continues to shape how I approach the instrument and this incredible world of Indian classical music. So come and join us at the Indian Classical Guitar Academy to start this journey. The first 50 subscribers will get a reduced price every month for the whole duration of their membership. So come and be one of the first guitar players to realise what it means to be an Indian classical musician.